What is the strategic response of initiatives, such as the 3Cs initiative? We are honored to have with us today the person who is one of the most knowledgeable of the 3Cs initiative, a presidential ambassador and special envoy for the 3Cs initiative, an initiator and creator of the 3Cs investment fund, Chancellery of President Duda in Warsaw, and a former president of the Polish State Development Bank and also the granddaughter of Prime Minister Daszyński. Please welcome to the stage Beata Daszyńska-Muzyczka.
Good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me here today, and Rebecca Thomas, my congratulations to organize this event for open discussion, because it is something what we really need today. Let me invite you to the short journey through this fantastic region, as a 3Cs region. Before I start, I have few slides and do my best to go through this slide as quick as possible, but I want to focus on some specific information that is worth to remember after this presentation. Firstly, I would like to share with you some data and figures which represent our region. Then I would like to show the challenges that we have, what we achieve and what is ahead of us, and what we can do together, and why the war in Ukraine and the massive aggression from Russia, there is no doubt that we have to cooperate. We are the eastern flank of NATO, so we have to cooperate. And when we see some maps that I have on the slides, there is no hesitate that we are the stronger and the key point on the map, on the European map, and how we can play the role, not only how to end off this war, but also how to rebuild the Ukraine and how to transform Moldova, for instance. Ladies and gentlemen, this 3Cs initiative was established exactly in September 2015 during the General Assembly United Nations by Kolinda Grabar-Kitarovic, President of Croatia, and the Polish President Andrzej Duda. This year we will have, next year we will have the 3Cs Summit in Poland, so be invited, feel invited already. And this is a brilliant initiative. It is only 9 years old, to be honest. So the number of countries, international venture, it is quite young initiative, to be honest. But it is a lot of opportunities that we have in this region. How we look on the map of the European Union? Well, almost 14% of total GDP of the European Union. From the other hand, it is over 26% of population. From the land, it is 32% of land. So when you see the GDP and population, it is a huge gap that we have. So there is the space how you can catch up and to develop our region to only be on the same level of quality which already exists in the western part of the European Union. And the infrastructure investment needs over 600 billion euro only in these 3 sectors and only up to 2030. But we are very attractive for the foreign investors because we have some feature. I don't want to focus on the details on the slides. What is important on the slides? We have some feature as emerging markets, and we are quite stable as a developed market. So it means that the investors, foreign investors, can achieve the better results from their investments. But they have to understand what is this region. And we have to find, including the business, governmental, presidential level, everybody has to be involved, how to attract the private business to be present in this region. And it looks very interesting because this is accumulated track record and the trajectory comparing to the path similar to the Asian tigers. So we are developing much faster comparing to the other countries in the European Union, and this is exactly our elements that we can show to the other countries, to the other investors. This is the region that is worth to be here, it is worth to invest. The 3 Cs initiative are focusing only on the 3 sectors: energy, transport, and digital. We have to improve the connectivity. And why I mention you about the summit in United States, summit in United Nations, because it was at the moment when the Agenda 2030 was announced. And one of the goals of this is how to build the connectivity across the world, because most infrastructure is developed across the world. This is not the feature of our region. This is not the feature of only Europe. Only east-west, west-east. Sometimes I show the connectivity between Moscow and Berlin, but it is the feature across the world. And what is the aim nowadays? We have to build as a net. So we have to build the infrastructure on the axis north-south. It is something what is very important also for our region. And we are very proud, very ambitious members of the European Union. When we joined to the European Union, everybody has ambition. We want to look like Germany, like France, Spain, and the other countries. It was normal. And we are mainly focusing on our production and delivering services and products, and to be also the market for the western part of European Union. Now, without this infrastructure, energy, transport, and the digital, we'll not be able to develop our productivity and our economy between us, because it is something what is worth to develop. Energy. How looks energy? EU climate policy till 2030. Very ambitious goals. A lot of money that we have to spend. And here's the reality. I know it is a huge challenge how we should change the energy mix, energy sources. But nowadays, it is 2023. Traditional biomass, coal, oil, and natural gas. This is the main sources of our energy globally. This is the reason why we have to invest more in renewable sources, nuclear power plants, SMR, and the other sources, just to change and achieve these very ambitious goals. But this is the reality. Here is the transportation and logistic investment. How looks the roads and rail in our region comparing to the western part of the European Union? And I have to underline, we are fighting as a proud members of the European Union how the entire European Union will be stronger and stronger. And without this infrastructure, we'll not be able to achieve this, because the disparity will be too big between the one united nation as a European Union. So the distance, the same distance between the Göteborg and Barcelona, if you are using a car, it is 25 hours. If you are using train, it is 1.5 a day. But yeah, you know. Tallinn and Constance is almost the same distance. But by train, you have spent 2.5 days, so it means you have to spend 3 days by train. It is the nightmare, to be honest. So In this moment, I would like to ask you, probably part of you know this information. There is Romania and Bulgaria, and there is a natural border on the Danube River. How many bridges there are? It is 480 kilometers. Luckily two. Luckily two. Of course, there is another agreement. They take the effort to build another 5. But in the contrary, there is the border between Poland and Germany and the other river. How many bridges? It is 187, so quite smaller one. No? 30. So it shows you how huge infrastructure gaps we have. Huge. So we have to build this infrastructure. We have to build these roads and rail, and especially rail, because if we are fighting about the other figures here, without the investment in the roads and especially the rails, it won't be possible to achieve these goals, very ambitious goals. There was a number of excellent words about the strategic infrastructure. Eastern flank of NATO. We are the closest neighbors to Ukraine because we have to support Ukraine. Can you see the strategic road Via Carpathia, TEN-T? There is no strategic road like Via Carpathia. This is the one of the most important projects in our initiative. So if we are thinking about developing this region, and especially we want to build the hubs for rebuilding Ukraine, to transform Moldova, without this infrastructure, it won't be possible. It won't be possible to deliver everything by plane. Even though we need to develop also the airports and so on. But rails and roads are the most important for our development. And digital. Digital infrastructure. We are less developed in terms of the digitalization and digital economy in our region, comparing to some countries in the western part. So COVID, of course, changed many things and speed up our development across the world. Yeah, we have to just to sit down in our flats, home apartments, and working somehow. So, of course, it was the boost of digitalization across the world and, of course, in our region as well. What is the biggest impact on the digitalization? R&D investment. This is the average investment on the governmental level in EU. And this is investment in our region. This is not all countries because it is only CEE. And probably you heard about the latest report, Mr. Mario Draghi. We need almost for the entire European Union, new Marshall Plan. We have to increase investment in R&D, double. So we be at the end of this development. Without the equal or even more investment through the government, through the European Union, in the digitalization in our countries, it won't be possible. We will stay far, far away from the other countries. And then will be another question. What is the European Union? It is unity. We are united. We are fighting about the entire economy. We are fighting about the convergence and to have the equal standard of living of our society. Without this investment and the understanding, we will not be able to catch up and to follow the much developed countries in the western part of the European Union. And this is our common goal. It is not against. This is our common goal that we have to invest appropriately to build the stronger European Union as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, the one report that we asked, it was prepared by IMF. IMF and Madam Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva, she was probably last day in this hotel. She mentioned that we, only this region, Three Seas region, to catch up this infrastructure gap till 2030, we should invest annually 3 to 8% of our GDP. 3 to 8% of our GDP. So it is huge, huge effort. And we're still discussing about only these three sectors: energy, transportation, and digital. So, of course, this is a huge effort for the EU fund, huge effort for the public money, national budget, and how we can find a way to attract the private business for the PPP project, because it is the chance how we can speed up this and catch up this development. This is some figures and data about the investment that we need in all these sectors. And as you see, in the ICT sector, it is twice as much we need for energy sector. What is worth to underline? All these figures was calculated before COVID crisis and before war in Ukraine. So today, probably we should increase 50% of these figures. So it means it is huge, huge effort. But it's positive information. We established as a development institution the Three Seas Investment Fund. It was $1.3 billion committed as a capital. We invest in the 5 investment projects. What is important? This project which has cross-border project or has influenced on more than one country. So, you know, it is bigger challenge to find this type of project. Even though we identify over 300 projects which are ready to implement in our region. And the total value nowadays, the estimated total value only from this $1.3 billion, it is 6 billion. It's euro dollars because we have the mix of currency. And what is more important for the private investor, that the target IRR, it is 12 to 15%. So when we had a meeting with the Japanese investors, they asked me, there is no point thought 1.5? No, it is 15. It is 15%. So this is the huge opportunity. But what I would like to encourage also, in our region, in the 13 countries, we have the pension funds. The most of these pension funds are Western institutions. And they don't have regulation, and they don't have enough risk appetite to invest in this infrastructure. So when you see these figures, it means that we are the loser when we retire, because we can earn the money till we're retired. If we invest, not all, of course, we have to diversify, but if more money from the pension fund will be invested here in our region, it is the positive impact also for our senior policy also. And this is not at the slide, but I want to share with you. In the meantime, it is not only the Three Seas Fund which invests in this region. There is a lot of efforts also on the ministerial level, our governments, and since 2018 to 2022, it was invested 80 billion euro in these only three sectors: energy, transportation, and digitalization. So it is a very positive signal, but when you compare to the figures that I mentioned about the 600, 700, 800, it is still a lot of money that we have to spend. And these figures are absolutely without the other areas that we have to invest. Because there is no calculated money in the 3Cs initiative for health, education, utilities, and there is no also the money that we should calculate for space industry, defense industry, especially in the current situation, tourism. So there is a lot of money that we have to be smart, how to invest, how to attract, and how to develop our region. On the other hand, we will be only the cheap labor market, good market to sell the goods, if we still will be earning the money. So probably it is not the scenario that we want to implement. This is the story about the 3Cs initiative. So 13 countries, 120 million population, huge positive economic achievement. Strategic partners, US, Germany, European Union as a Commission, and also the new strategic partner as a Japan, which was announced on the this year in April during the 3C summit in Vilnius. This is the cooperation about the common goal and how to build the stronger European Union as our future. And even if this report, Mr. Draghi report, sounds very sad that we are far away from the innovation and the productivity from US, China, mainly from US and China, it doesn't mean that we will not be able to catch up. And ladies and gentlemen, this presentation can be sent if anybody wants, the organizer has this presentation. We are responsible for our nation, for our countries, we are responsible for this region, we are responsible for the future of the European Union. And only the common effort it is able to strengthen also the eastern flank of NATO. So without this infrastructure, without this investment, without the common effort, the public-private investment, it would not be possible to address all these needs. And I know I have 10 minutes times more, but I don't want to exceed this. My last sentence, what I want to live here in this room. We have a number of crises. Energy crisis, military crisis, war, cybersecurity crisis, and leadership crisis. It is too much. And even if we know how to address, mainly through the money, that's all crises as infrastructure, energy, and so on. The leadership crisis, I don't know how to address, and this is the reason that I want to put here, because it is our responsibility as all nation, all society in every country and the European Union. But what we have in front of us, especially some dreams. We are talking about dreams. Too often we are talking about dreams, and we are waiting for some special miracle which appears and resolves our problems. Nothing will happen. We have to start to talk in the very realistic way and take the very pragmatic action. Without this, nothing happens. We will be repeating the same words and thinking and talk about dreams, and waiting for a miracle. Stop waiting, just action. Thank you very much.